What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel and another episode of my pathetic life as a homeowner. In this episode, if you clicked on the video, chances are you blew a coolant hose. And in my case, I blew a coolant hose in a Nissan Xterra. And I really thought that I actually had this car figured out and I'd be on to other projects, but unfortunately, I'm back into this old pile of shit. Here's what happened. Wife came home, barreling into the freaking driveway. I was outside and all of a sudden smoke starts billowing outside of the hood. I quickly opened it up. I thought it was on fire. I was gonna back it out of the driveway and let it burn on the road, but it turns out there was coolant all over the place, and that was the problem. So I'm gonna be doing a little how-to on how to solve this, and hopefully you learn something from it. Let's get started. Cheers. Alrighty, mileage on this sexy bitch. We got 132,900 miles on her. And this seems to be the first coolant issue that I experienced. So let's take a look at what's going on here. All right. So the blowout started in this side somewhere. I couldn't find it at first, but it became very, very obvious as to where it actually happened. This hose right here is supposed to go on here. And clearly there's like a little nipple right there. And it obviously busted off. And then it was spraying while the car was on, all over here, coolant all in there. Made a big mess, and it was dripping onto the exhaust system, and that's why it was smoking up like a chimney. So let's see how do we fix this. Here's the problem. I thought I was gonna have this nice little simple easy little fitting here, and I just swap the fitting out and I get my nipple back and it would be simple as that. But no, the way these things are put on is they're crimped to an aluminum pipe. So you can't just buy this part for at least a 2006 Nissan Xterra. You have to buy the whole thing. Realistically, you don't need this tube, but it comes with this rubber hose, sorry. So this is considered a heater hose. Some people refer to it as a heater hose manifold. I bought mine from partsgeek.com. The part number in this Nissan Xterra's case, and I think it falls under a lot of other Nissan products or Nissan vehicles, is 92410-EA200. It was 49 bucks, plus I tried to rush ship it, so it was another 30. After I ordered it, I noticed that Amazon had the same thing. You just look it up by the part number, and you can order it from there too, so I'll put a link to that below. But this should be relatively simple. It's looks like it's pretty simple access. So all we gotta do is, we're going over there and we're ending up here. And then there's two 10mm bolts that bolt to the back of the firewall. Where this is going into the heater core, into your vehicle, and the heater core essentially gives you heat whether you need it or not. It's fucking January 10th or 11th or 12th, I don't even know. In Florida, it's hot as shit, it's 80 degrees. So I'm not using the heat, but that's what we gotta do, so let's get at it. So the most annoying part of this build, or not build, sorry, of this fix is the actual location. These things are on the firewall. The easiest way at them is to literally lay on top of the engine, which is what I'm gonna end up doing right now. And I'm gonna make myself a beautiful fucking bed here so I can lay down, have a picnic, and be good to go. All right, blankets on. First things first, to the engine gods, give the old girl some fucking beer. I probably did this last time, and maybe that's what actually gave me the bad karma and blew that fucking fitting out. So, meh, whatever. There's some beer for the old girl, and then there's some beer for me and you. All right, fucking make yourself at home. Careful not to bust anything while you're working here. Let me try to get the camera in here. This is the first one we're going for. I'm using a little wrench. It's easier than a ratchet. In my opinion, the ratchet's getting all caught up, but this thing takes forever. Come on, girl. There we go. One off. Set that up there. And the second one. Ugh. This one's a bit fucking tighter. Very tight. So this is the shittiest part about this whole situation. Come on, bitch. So it turns out a ratchet on this one makes it a little easier. Alright, 2 off. Boom! Put that up there. Let's back the fuck out of this picnic. Ugh. Now we gotta get this clamp undone right there. And that clamp is right here. This one's already pre-strung, so don't touch this one until you put it back in. This one we gotta get off right now. Let's do that. So as I'm taking this thing off, I'm gonna, if you notice there's a hose right here, this has got a fitting too. Apparently this thing busts every once in a while too. In my case, it's the right side. I can't remember if that's the in or out of the heater core, but this is notorious for breaking as well. And hopefully I don't fuck it up while I'm messing with this. But I mean, long story short, anywhere through your whole entire system, you could potentially have a leak. So, I mean, mine's there. Yours might not necessarily be there, but I mean, generally speaking, a coolant leak is pretty easy to solve. And we're gonna be disconnecting from here all the way through to there. So it's generally pretty easy to solve on your own without having to take it to a shop. Now, if you do experience this situation mid-travel, don't necessarily think you have to pull over. Just monitor your engine temps. Come on, you fucking cocksucker. Monitor your engine temps and make sure they don't go crazy. Hold on, let me just try to... This is kind of an awkward spot in this... There. Come on. Monitor your engine temps and you should be good as long as they're not starting to get crazy high, getting it somewhere safe. But if they do start climbing like crazy, then you gotta pull over and chances are you gotta get it towed. I gotta get something to, like this little hook thing to try to get this fucking hose up. Come on, bitch. There we go. You might make a bit of a mess, but that's all right. So we got this side off, 2 bolts are off. Now we gotta, dude, sorry about the lighting, holy fuck. It's a mess here. And then finally I gotta do this one down here. Right here, we gotta pinch this off. Take that off, and then this should wiggle its way out. Ah, come on, you fucking shitters. Ah. Okay, it's probably gonna make a mess. Maybe not. Oh, it didn't make a mess. Clearly not enough coolant in there to warrant it. All right, let's get back on this side. There we go. All right. Something fell. What the fuck fell? I don't know, I'll find out later. Oh, it's just the washer for the mounting. There we go, we're out. Out with the busted. And now we do the reverse. So let's just get this back in here. Try not to lose those standoffs. Go under this tube. Yeah, pretty easy so far. Come on, you bitch. Oh my god, there we go. All right, get my fucking picnic blanket back in here. Bolts first. Slide that onto there. Go on, girl. Let me get the bolts on first. Sorry about the lighting. The sun is totally backlighting this whole situation more than I want it to. Come on, girl, just catch a thread. Fucking righty-tighty. This son of a bitch. I don't really have anything good to pop this. Oh, here we go. There we go, baby. She be out. All right, let's put this back on. Slide it down here. So now this goes here. This is a stupid design in my opinion. Whoever fucking engineered this is retarded. This should go straight out here to prevent this fucking situation from happening. It adds a lot of pressure in my opinion, but maybe there's some fucking logic behind it that I don't know about. It is what it is. All right, boom. Back on. No more leak. Fuck you. Let's go to the other side. That clamp. Are we good? Sort of. Fuck. Come on. That was really annoying. There we go. Cool. All right. Hose good on this side. Bolt tightened. Bolt tightened. Clamp tightened back there. Clamp tightened back here. Next thing we're gonna do is see what the level's like. You're supposed to see through the tank, but it's fucking impossible to see the min-max. So I'm gonna look in here. It looks like we're okay. Looks like it's got the max level. Next step, let's start this hog. Yeah, it's hot in here. So what's happening right now is the system could have a lot of air in it because we just put in a new pipe. So it should work its way out, but honestly just monitor the heat for the next several drives, and if it starts to spike on this, obviously pull over and let it cool off. But chances are it might be an air situation, but it should work its way out of the system. So now, because that was the, in my case, because that was the heater hose, it's a wise decision to put on the heat and blast it and see what happens, see if there's any heat coming out. Because what's going to end up happening is the heat goes through the engine heats the coolant, and then the coolant goes into a heating core that's behind the dash, through the firewall in between behind the dash, and actually gives you the heat into your vehicle. So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't feel any heat. Hold on, I don't know. There we go. Still feeling cool, which is normal. I mean, the car's got to warm up for the heat to actually start heating the car. But I'm just gonna sit here and wait for the heat to come out of the vents and watch the temperature, and then also check the tank again to see if it needs to be topped off. All right, I noticed the car's not overheating, but the heat's a little weak in my opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some coolant. I looked in there and it's pretty damn low. I'm gonna pour some down into the rad as well. And hopefully that tops off the whole system, and we'll get back at it in a second. going on this hole. Just a little weak. Always when doing this, check under the car. Make sure your valued effort of filling up doesn't go down the fucking drain onto the fucking driveway. So that looks like it's topped off. Throw some more in here. Still going down. I mean, that's all I had. It was about a half a gallon. Let's go start her up. So I'm gonna put this on first. I'll leave that cap off over there on the res. Boom. Working. I can feel it. Feel it. When I turn the heat on, I can feel the car working the system here, so give it a few minutes. Alrighty, I've been running the car for a good 20 minutes now, and that's kind of enough time for it to heat up. I did actually have a situation with the car. The car's off right now, but my engine temperature needle spiked all the way almost to the top of the H, and it got me a bit concerned. The heat was not heating at all. There was no heat coming out of the vents. So what that indicated was that there was an air bubble trapped inside this engine somewhere, probably obviously because I changed the whole pipe, right? So what I ended up having to do was kind of burp the engine a few times. I had to take the cap off here. I had to take the cap off here, then I put it on, let it run, took it off, let it run some more, and the engine temperature was still climbing. And then finally, after like a good 10 minutes of going back and forth between the caps, I finally took this one off, and it like burped like crazy. Burped like crazy. A puff of air came out, or a puff of smoke or steam, let's say, came out. And then also the fluid kind of came out. And then as soon as I did that, or as soon as that happened, I went back to the engine, and immediately the engine temperature gauge completely dropped to center point, right where it should be. And then all of a sudden the heat started to heat. So if you're doing it, if you're doing anything into the coolant system, make sure you get all the air out. Just keep fucking with the caps. Eventually it'll get out. Sit there and monitor the temperature of the engine, and then double check your heat here, which it's burning hot right now, and it's freaking 83 degrees outside right now. So there you have it, boys and girls. That's it. It was a relatively easy project. The swap itself, I would say, is a 1 beer project. However, the hardest and scariest part is certainly the air bubble that could potentially get stuck in the system. I definitely had an air bubble stuck in the system, and I had to fight to get it out by popping the rad caps and reservoir caps. Eventually it got out, but up until that point, the engine did start to overheat. So that took a couple of beers sitting around waiting and watching and hoping for the best. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have a car or you own a home and you're doing projects around it, that is literally what my channel's about. Anytime I do something with the car related or the house related, I try to make it a video, try to make it entertaining, and that's that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Cheers.